It's getting there. Hi everyone, happy Friday. I'm just trying to get my tablet to where we're into recording mode and make sure that everything is functioning the way it's supposed to be. Yes. Make sure that everything's turned on. Okay, so we're good. So today, I put a little teaser out and I said, hey, do you want to learn how to make a mailbox swag? Since I taught my private group how to do this, I have an order that needs to be complete for a winter mailbox swag. So I thought, what better way to kind of combine a tutorial and time to do a tutorial for making a mailbox swag, because I haven't done one of those for the public group. So what you will need, super simple, is a, this has been cut down, obviously. This is probably 6 feet, but Hobby Lobby sells 9 feet of Garland, and you can cut them down. I use them for my centerpieces, my table runners, obviously mailbox swag, and a variety of other things besides Garland. And so these run about $11.99 at Hobby Lobby. So with their 50% off, that's about $6. Tell people, hey, how long do you want it? You know, do you want it to drape down the post? Do you want it to, you know, be a little bit longer? Do you want it to stop right at the mailbox? All that's going to be contingent upon somebody's preference. But they said that they were happy with the size of the one that I created. So we're going to do this for you guys. So if you're new and this is your first time joining us, let me know. I'd like to welcome you. And that's pretty much about it, right? That I normally do.
Like and share. I think you do
yeah, if you want to get this, you know, like after you watch the tutorial, like, oh my God, I have a mailbox and I want to make a mailbox swag for it. Just click the share button. It's so much easier to find that tutorial on your page rather than looking through mine. So you're welcome to do that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find where the end is. So not the end as in your garland point, but where the little tinsel ties end. And we're going to measure that out to 36 inches, which is the length of my cutting mat. And then we're going to push all the tinsel ties back to expose that one wire. And you're just going to separate it. So now I have 2 pieces, so I could technically make another one. Throw that one over there. So there you go. You have to swipe. It's what everybody else says. I can't read the comments. You got to swipe to, what is it? Swipe to the left?
Swipe left.
Yeah. So, hi Anna. Hi Kathy. Hi Rita. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take all of the tinsel ties and you're going to fluff them, which means physically put hands on every single one of these and move them into a position, because when they get them at the store, they don't fluff them, so they do look really lifeless. But I can.
And thank you for the flowers, right?
Yes.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, we've been enjoying your flowers. So, and we've been enjoying our house. The weather is beautiful today for fall. It is about 70 degrees and it's starting to cool off. So, and the reason why we fluff is it looks so much better when it does, but it also reveals to us where all the tinsel ties are. So when we get ready to put all of our ribbon and embellishments in there, we know where we can utilize that space. So that's why I say take your hand, and sometimes they're stuck to the bottom and you need to pull them apart.
Hi everyone, just joining.
So this should make a swag that roughly is about 38 inches long and I want to say maybe roughly about 10 inches wide, about 6 inches deep once we add the bow. So it's going to be a very full one.
This would be pretty if you flock it, right?
Yeah, you could definitely flock it. You could get a can of spray flock, and I would fluff it first and then probably spray spray it with the flock. I didn't know if I wanted to go with white. Customer's request is winter, because then they can use it all season long, and they don't want traditional Christmas colors. They want something that is reminiscent of winter. So they were thinking something like blue, silver, white. So that's the color palette we're going to use today, is blue, silver, and white.
Charlotte asked, did the washer get fixed? Yep, it got fixed.
Yeah, well, let's be technical. So the washer technically did not get fixed. We drove the washing machine back down to Home Depot and returned it. So, because it was turning into a nightmare. So here's the thing about Home Depot's protection program. Don't buy it. Steve was feeling bad that maybe, he's like, should I have bought the protection plan? So when we were at Home Depot waiting, I opened up their protection plan pamphlet, and it basically says that if there's anything wrong with your appliance, even though you have their protection plan, it goes through the manufacturer's warranty first. Their protection program only kicks in when there is something that requires fixing that isn't covered by the manufacturer's warranty. And so I was telling Steve, so you would have spent all that money for a warranty that you couldn't have utilized. So thankfully, Home Depot did do the right thing. They took it back. They refunded us our money, and then we went and bought a totally different brand. So, all right, look how beautiful that is. Nice, full, and fluffy. So because the customer's request was white, silver, and blue, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a iridescent blue and an iridescent white mesh to our evergreen base. So I have 8 pieces of each cut to 15 inches, so that if you notice, it's kind of sheer, but once you bundle this together, you get a really pretty blue. So it's a nice icy blue. So we're going to ruffle these, and I'm going to alternate blue and white. Both mesh came from Craft Outlet, so just nice little bow ties like this. I'm going to go ahead and stick a blue one on the end, right on the end, just like so. And we're using the evergreen garland for our, to hold our mesh together.
Hey Richard, yeah, we're getting there. We're close to getting settled in. Still need some small stuff here and there, but
yeah, all the stuff that requires you to readjust to a whole new normal, right?
yeah. Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to go in and add my white. So remember our goal, I'm not trying to cover the evergreen, but I'm also, I don't want it to be an evergreen. So, if that makes sense. If you guys saw the fall one that we did, you can't even tell that it was an evergreen base. So, it just makes for a nice prefabbed base. So I have 8 of every color. So we're going to put 4 pieces on one side, 4 pieces on the other. So I'm kind of working one side of my garland, and then I go back and I start working the other side.
Yeah, so there's a fall day, sunny with a little chill in the air, kind of like cars.
Yeah.
So she did reach outside, started cleaning out flower gardens.
Ah. Yes. We cleaned our chicken run today, where our chickens spend most of their time. Because apparently the people who lived here before for 2 years didn't do anything. So the poor chickens just didn't have a very clean chicken run. And they have a mansion when it comes to chicken runs. They have plenty of room to roam free. Okay. So you can see I'm doing this they're kind of overlapping a little bit, but not an extreme amount. So far I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces on. Okay.
Yeah. Cut to what?
15 inches.
15 inches.
Just because with the blue, if I didn't cut it to 15 inches, you wouldn't be able to tell it was blue because it is so light. Looks great in the package.
It all takes time to get settled in. Yes, it does. Shirley, she's watching you, but also due to the weather in Florida. Is there a hurricane or something?
Yeah, I think it's that Hurricane Fiona.
Oh, okay. Richard, no, she was not doing live in her kitchen. She was doing a live in her new workshop.
Yes, I'm actually in my shop. I have the shop doors wide open. And we are live from the shop.
If I close the door, then it kind of lights the cricket.
Oh no, I like that sound.
You like the cricket sound?
I like the cricket sound. Okay, so I did one whole side, so now I'm going back in where I'm going to be adding these. Is in between the spaces where they're kind of conjoined, I guess. So yes, if you hear crickets, that is a sound that we hear even in the middle of the day. There's always crickets somewhere. Don't know why. But wherever they're at, must be dark.
This is a she shop, not a she shed, Richard. It's big. It's 25 by 35, so it's 875 square feet.
Yeah, I love it. It definitely gives me a lot of creative space. But the whole open space, like, I refuse to put anything in the middle. Like, Steve's like, oh, add shelves and put a whole bunch of cool stuff in here and add more racks. I'm like, no. I like it all very clean and very neat looking. So I'm sure I'll get to that point where I really will want to see the ribbons, seasonal ribbons that are in a tub. We are going to have to build something to hold the florals because our florals right now are packed in bins. In our old house, they were stored in the garage and they were in giant buckets on a wall, sorted by color. So it was kind of nice. I could walk out there if I knew that I was doing something that was, you know, summery or grab something for fall. I could see all my florals.
So what do you do to protect this with it being outside? You just let it.
You just let it be.
Let it be. I mean, it'll last about a year.
Yeah, it's going to last about a season. Oop, I grabbed the wrong one. Yeah. You could spray it with a UV protectant. That'll help. And then always remember that things that are darker will fade more noticeably than things that are lighter. So this is definitely going to work to that advantage. But let me see where I'm at. I think I'm right in here. Was where I wanted to go, right? I'm looking. Was it here? Yes, I guess so. But the problem with the UV protectant is it only lasts for 6 weeks. So you're going to constantly have to go out and reapply it if you want it to have the benefit that most people do with a UV spray protectant. And you can get that on Amazon. You could get it at Home Depot. A lot of different places have it. I think it's like a marine. So you can see we're definitely adding to the width by doing this. And this launches off in a bunch of different points. You could actually take this and make a corner swag out of it. What else did somebody say? That they could have used it was like an arch, I think?
Yeah, or a corner swag or an arch.
Something like that. Yeah, they were like, oh, that would be great as like an arch.
Melissa, yeah, because it's a 9-foot piece that she cut down in thirds. There's still 6 feet available, so you can make 2 more swags out of it.
Yeah.
Centerpieces, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. So technically, you could make a matching mailbox swag. You could make a
Scotch guard. Yeah, Scotch guard would work probably.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea.
Let's look for one more piece we can squeeze in. Thinking right in here.
Happy Friday, Elizabeth and everybody.
It feels a little thick. Trying to find, there it is. Because I had one piece left.
Lydia, Kat's plan, and I can see it, is she wants like a 4x4 post. And then on each side of the post, I'm going to put out like a diagonal feet, if you kind of get it. And then I'm going to put casters on it, and then we're going to put buckets on each side of the post.
On all 4 sides. So it'll have 3 buckets, like high.
On each side, right.
And then you can roll it, and you can turn it around. Right. So then it's free flowing. I could like pull it over like to where I'm working.
Giant lazy push it back. Susan. Like a giant lazy Susan.
But vertical.
But vertical, yeah.
Deco mesh to this so you can see that it's setting up for the winter. We have to find the middle because that's where our bow goes. So the easiest way to do it is to grab the ends, grab the middle, and pull. So right about here is my middle. So this is where our bow is going to go. I'm going to make sure I pull my mesh up. So let's make the bow, because I always say it's great. Like once you add your bow, then you can fill the sides. And this looks amazing on your mailbox because it really feels the whole part. So,
Melissa, I guess after you mean, like after a year, what would you do with it? You could always take the mesh out and just do it for something else. You could turn it in the fall or patriotic, whatever you wanted to do.
You could, or you could, like, for me, I would just take it and hang it up, put it on a hanger and hang it for next year. Yep. Bow. All right, so most of the ribbon is from Joann's that I got back in 2019. They had a really beautiful color palette in like these blues, whites, and silvers. So we're going to be doing this gray with the white birch bark and blueberries, this ombre fading from the blue to the white. We're also going to add in a little bit of glitter icy blue. And then this, which was from Hobby Lobby 2018, the year before, is going to be Spark, which is from 5th Street Studios. So all the other ribbon was from Joann's in the past. Don't know if there'll be Joann's in the future, but this is what we're going to do. And let's, I think, I'm going to mix these up a bit. Do I want to do these two?
How many pieces of mesh did you have?
Grand total, let me think about that. 8 of each color.
8 of each color.
So 8 white and 8, yeah. Shirley says, I'd like to do a mailbox cover, but it'd be stolen fast in my area. Same thing here. So we never did it in our home, but here it's fine because we're very remote. So there's not that many people here. Matter of fact, we only have like 2 neighbors to the right of us and about 3 neighbors to the left, and then it goes around the corner. So we're out in the middle of nowhere. So you could really zip tie that down good and make it difficult, you know, so that people can't snatch and grab. That's what we used to do in our old house when we did garland around the porch or garland around the windows. We just reinforced it with a ton of zip ties and made snatching and grabbing more of a challenge than it was worth. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring our wired edges together. We are going to cut from the folded side to the wired point. And on a mailbox flag, you don't want it to go too long. So we can't go by the old recipe, because where the bow is where it's going to sit on top of the mailbox, and then the sides are going to cascade down and reflect all the embellishments and stuff that you have on it. So we're going to do this one, I want to say, how did we do this last time? I think I did do 10, 9, 8, 8.5, and 7. So we're going to start with 10. So this can cascade down the sides with the others. And then we're going to do, because normally we're doing 6 ribbon, and here we're only doing 5. So let's see what 5.5 looks like with this ribbon, because I know it's a little bigger. 5.5 works. So 5.5 for the first. So we'll go 5.5, 5, 4.5, 4, and then 3.5. So that is the loop recipe. So I always bring it back, just verify my lengths, and then we'll go back out to 10. We will do a dovetail edge on this. So have any of you made mailbox swags before? There's quite a few videos out there. People have used hangers, just regular wire hangers, and added floral foam to it and created it that way. I think, yeah, now we're doing this one. There's people who just take a block of floral foam, glue it together in like a little triangle that sits on top of the mailbox, and then they stuff all their picks in it. It's another option, but I like this one the best because it yields a very full swag. So we're going to go 9 inches with this, and we're doing 5-inch loops. I don't think that's, this one's leaning towards 5.5. There we go. Ooh, let's see, do we have enough with this splicey piece here? Yes, we do.
Are they spliced?
Yes. So, we said 9.
Simone said, "Hi Simone, I haven't, but I would like to try."
These are super easy, so I would challenge you, use the evergreen form. Look at how it looks. Like right now, if you were to look at the form, you're like, I don't really see how that's going to be a mailbox flag, but just trust me on the whole process.
Lily says she has it with a tombstone foam hanger.
Okay. Yeah, you could use a cemetery saddle.
I was going to ask, how much would you charge for this?
Based on the amount of embellishments and florals and everything else that's going into it, $97, and then it's roughly $30 to ship, because this is going to be 38 inches at the finish, 12 inches or 10 inches wide and 6 inches tall. So it's going to be very, very full. Okay, so we did. Now we're doing, believe it or not, the 97 price point is fairly mild. There are people selling them starting at about 120, and that does not include shipping. So it just really depends on what you put in it. So you're going to have to be very cognizant of your costs, because adding florals and picks can be very expensive. You know, ribbon, not so much, but definitely, you know, most of the time our berries are about $4 to, I want to say $4 or $5 for picks, but you're going to use equal amounts on both sides. And then your evergreen embellishments, those run about $8 a pop. If you get the snow and glitter ones. What's up? Okay, this one we're doing at 8 inches.
Charlotte said last year you redid a rag wreath, I think, for your garage door. Is there a tutorial for that?
A rag wreath. I don't.
You said you redid a hug wreath, but I think it's a rag wreath.
It shouldn't be a rag wreath, because I don't think I ever really redid a rag wreath, because they're meant to be fairly.
Maybe she meant a huge wreath.
Oh yes.
Yes.
So I did do that. That one's actually going to hang above my shop for Christmas. Try my YouTube channel.
Rita, if she sold this, the good thing about this is you can just fold it in half and put it in a box. So this would probably go in probably like an 18-inch box, I think, right? Maybe a 20?
20, 22.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Back on track. Okay. So yeah, I love this. And now what I do is I bring out what's called a project basket. So I just walk around the shop and it's kind of like grocery shopping. I just throw all the stuff that I'm like, let's take this over. Let's add this. Let's try that. So I think that's feeling very frosty, very wintry. Frosty. Okay, 7.5 inches for the tail length, and it's going to be 3.5 inches for our loop length. This is one ribbon that I picked out last year because this was new. So I love this. It's like a winter birch bark is what they call it. Okay, 3.5 inches. So this way, each one of those ribbon is staggered out just a little bit more than the others. Last one. And we're not fluffing on the fluff board. We are actually fluffing right on the swag. So that's a little different. But you want to fluff on the swag because it's two-sided, right? Looking at it from the top. Let's see, we need a pipe cleaner. White. So nice. I don't have to send Steve to go, hey, can you go grab me a pipe cleaner?
Right?
Yeah.
I think we do need to bring it down a little bit high.
Well, I have the ones beneath. So I just reach into those and grab those. That just tells me what colors I have. Okay. So putting our pipe cleaner around, holding it, and then twisting just makes the process so much easier. These then can just go over here. This also get put back. And let's bring our swag back. Okay. So remember, we said where I had put all the evergreens, I kind of stood them up so I would know, hey, that's my centerpiece right in here. So I'm going to go ahead and, because we know, hey, you can just drop that right to the bottom. Let me...
Linda, she has a little portable heater, so not yet. We will eventually get like permanent heat in here. I don't know if it's an air conditioner.
I don't think so.
Probably just a heater.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Anna said, Kat, I'm considering doing a vendor show in November. How many wreaths would be a good number to have on hand?
In November. So you're going to want November, early November, or November, late November? Okay, so on these ones, we're still doing the same thing. We're going to do, you know, pull your tail one direction, your loop the other. We do it the same here just because that's, you know, standard protocol. That's what works in the past, so that's what we're doing here.
I guess another typical question, Anna, is how much space do you have in that event?
Is it like sometimes a 10 by 10?
Like 6 feet or, 10 feet.
Oops. There's that. Grab this one. So they'll be just slightly opposite. Remember, this is sitting on the mailbox.
Someone said, Kat, I got the project basket idea from you and I love it.
It's so much easier to just, I don't know why, I would just like go back and forth. You know, taking a roll of Deco mesh and a sign and go hunt down the mesh. Then go take the sign and go find ribbon. So
and I said it's the 19th.
19th.
So Thanksgiving is out.
Yes.
So it's too late. So just be basically focusing on winter and Christmas.
Well, here's the thing. By November 19th, you're dealing with the people who either already have their Christmas decorations up because they've already decorated for Thanksgiving. So you can take a couple Christmas, but I would move towards everyday items that could be purchased as gifts, and then they can, you know, take those either for a future use on their front door, like Valentine's Day, or you could do New Year's, but you know, stuff that's like a general welcome, I think would do really, really well. So I'm just moving these around the way I want.
Definitely bring Christmas.
Yeah. Like I said, Christmas, it's kind of weird because some people, believe it or not, already have their Christmas done. So I'm doing these so that the ribbons will cascade down the side. So you're not going to see an awful lot happening right here because we're focusing on the center and then what happens on the side. So I have all of my tails here. And I promise you I will take photos so you can see what this looks like on an actual mailbox. You can see the length, you can see how it presents. I'm trying to get that tinsel off. Okay, so there is our happy bow. So very winter-like. And now we're going to embellish. So I have a tendency of embellishing, starting large and then working my way to the smalls. And then I try to keep them the same on both sides. Let me make sure this is even. Yeah, it just felt weird. We're right in the center. This is, for some reason, this feels shorter, but it's not. Okay, so let me show you what I have picked out. So, I had these in some Christmas decor boxes. I think they probably came from Hobby Lobby or Joann's. There's no tags on them, so I wish I could tell you, but these work great when you want to prefab a pick and you don't want to put it all together. So I'm going to cut them down because I don't need a stem quite this long.
Where should work in the Garland be purchased?
Hobby Lobby.
I'm going to try to make this. It's looking beautiful vase.
Go to Hobby Lobby. You can get a 9-foot garland, and then that will give you more than enough. I'm trying to find the other ones too. That's apple, apple, apple. I know there's one more here, I believe. One, two, three, four. I have 4 apples, and I have 3 of these. So we'll figure this out. Because I want to be able to use these. So having these prefabbed, I think I'm going to have these right up here. So it's going to go there, and then we're going to have one here. What ends up happening is when you fold this, pull this one out. When you fold it and it's hung here, this opens up and then you have an opening here. So you want to make sure that you have stuff filled so that as that folds and cascades, you have something already in there. So we're going to do that there. And we're going to add this one in here. And so I've got my glue skillet already ready. I'm just going to pick this up and just glue this right into my garland. So we have a little package, a really pretty poinsettia, just like that. It has a little bit of a silver garland to it.
I actually love the blue, showing us a great fit.
Yeah, why? If you can get something that's already pre-done, great. Then I have these ones that have a little bit of a frosted apple, but still the same thing, that teal, that blue. So I'm going to move these down to the next space. There's that one. Just so there's a different variety, like I like the fact that now we have a blue glittery apple. And I think Hobby Lobby had something like this similar, but I don't know if they're carrying it this year. So it's just going right in along the garland that we've already added all our mesh to. So we have 2 more, I believe. So So I'm just going to work these in. Where did you pop off from? Oh, here you go. But let's make sure you don't pop off again. We'll add a little double glue. And make sure you don't come off. Right in here. So like the colors of the blues, it definitely plays to the colors we have added into our wreath. I have still this one. We will work on that one in a moment. I have these, I think this came as one giant pick, and I actually broke it apart thinking I was going to use it in a Christmas wreath, and I didn't like it. So I'm going to take pieces of these and kind of tuck these in. Kind of like, I'm trying to get it to go like this. So these will cascade down. So right under that. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue. Actually, let's cut them down a bit more. I don't want too long of a stem. Okay, there's that one. Moving my glue threads as I go. We're going to take this one. So I'm cutting them down so it's about 1 inch of a stem left. And I'm alternating. So one's going on the left, one's going on the right. Then we have 2 more. We'll do the same thing as we move down. What do we want to do? Let me hold that one and look at the plane. Do I want to add them both here?
This is so pretty. This is so beautiful.
I think I will.
Hi, gals.
So I'm going to add one on either side. Just like so. So this way it starts off long and will get shorter. Okay.
It was last Friday in the public group, right, where we kind of panned out the whole shop.
Mm-hmm.
So, Richard, or for anybody who missed last Friday's video, kind of at the end, we panned the camera out so you can kind of see what the shop looks like if you want to go back and watch it.
So now I'm looking at the option of adding some white pine. Not white pine, just like a snowy pine. So I'm going to add that in. I don't want them so big.
Hi, Juanita.
And then I can add the pine cone to the other side. So this way, if any greenery is seen, it's either going to be frosted or has snow on it. So I know Hobby Lobby sells a pick like this. And so this is what I'm doing. I'm taking these and breaking them down into smaller, more usable picks.
Rita says she has a white swag that she wants to use the same colors in it.
You can definitely do that. And don't forget, if you're like, oh, I really wish that they had blue swag, there is nothing that says that you cannot take out your spray paint and spray paint your greenery into whatever color base you want. So if you wanted to do this for Halloween, you could spray paint the entire Garland black, and then start. So we're just adding those little picks. So I'm taking everything that is like snow covered on this pick, and I'm tucking these up and around. So this is where it's going to cascade under my bow. So I already know that when it bends, it's going to have that little open pocket.
Sorry, does that mesh fray a lot in the weather?
No,
as long as you don't touch it, it won't really fray.
Yeah. So now I'm looking at, adding the different colored greenery that is a little frosted. And I'm just pulling it apart from this pick. There's some dusted pine cones, which we'll add in a minute. Let's grab this. This is a frosted cedar. This is from Sims Pottery, which is a wholesaler. So it'll give us the icy look that we like. So I'm going to come in here and just keep adding to the greenery to give it more depth and more dimension. So sometimes I like pulling them all apart because I want them where I want them to be. Just like that. And this would make a really nice centerpiece as well. So we're going to start doing on the end as well. We'll break down another pick. And I'm just pulling these off where their stems are attached. Thank God for glitter. It can stay in the garage now. Yep, just sweep it up, vacuum it with a shop vac. What do you guys think so far? Do you like the way it's turning out?
Linda, good question.
It's South Carolina, I believe.
Yeah. Well, they have them in Florida and North Carolina.
Yeah. We don't have them out here. So I don't have a physical wholesaler out here. I would wish they did. But no.
Well, we could do this one of our grapevine vineyards, just make grapevine wreaths.
Right. We'll wait for the grapevines to die out and then make our own garland. Yeah, I don't know how Kat's going to go that far. I think there's going to be a stopping point where I just say, it's worth somebody else, doing that for me.
Yeah, our Hobby Lobby has grapevines, and there's a Michael's.
There's a Michael's, a Joann's, a Dollar Tree. I mean, we're not that far removed from everything.
I should love the colors.
So I'm just doing some like highs and lows, like little pieces, small pieces, big pieces. Tucking some in and around our bow so that that carries over. Now we got to go to the other side because we've been working on this side enough. So let's go to the other side. Let's get rid of those for now. This I'm still going to use. I just haven't figured out where yet. So I'm just adding little sprigs of my snowy cedar. Just kind of tucking those in to the bow. Okay, let's add some cedar to this side. So as you can see, you get quite a lot on one. So we're going to go ahead and add these. So we have different blend. We have like the balsam fir tied in with the, I think we have like 4 or 5 different types. We have balsam, we have cedar, we have Douglas fir, we have hemlock, which is interesting.
That's a good deer to type.
Hemlock?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think deer eat hemlock.
I don't know.
So Rita, what store were you talking about? She said what they had were terrible. Plus they weren't 50% off. I was really disappointed with that.
Yeah,
with what they had in ribbon too. She spent $20. That's it.
I'm trying not to. People might be a little slow getting their stuff out, is what I'm thinking. I keep trying to drag my glue back to the pot. There we go. Now we'll come down here, we'll work the end. So this pick will be finished. There we go. Lots to work with. So we have 3 long pieces on the end. That will elongate our piece down here. So we did 3, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. Okay.
Oh, Rita was replying to Anna.
About, was it Sims?
I'm going back to try to see.
Oh, going back and looking at the comments? Gotcha. So I'm using up the rest of my little cedar picks, and then we'll come in and add another type of greenery to this.
Oh, that's nice, Mary. She said, if you can't find something, you let me know. I'll be more than happy to bless you with it.
Aww.
Anna said her Hobby Lobby aisles are filled with boxes of Christmas stuff.
But they don't have it out yet?
Yeah, but they're having trouble getting it out.
Ah.
Our old one had it out before we even left. Huh?
Yeah.
For the most part.
Tell them you'll work for supplies. Oh, work for Hobby Lobby supplies. Okay. Please go in the glue skillet. Okay, let's go ahead and separate these pine cones from here. So we're going to go ahead and finish these off with some rusted pine cones.
Simone, the cricket is not in her shop. It's way out on our property, but it's a loud one.
He's very loud. So now we're coming in and adding pine cones. I have another one that's kind of tied into this one. Man, that's big. That's like really big. Why do they go so big? Let's use the little one. If we can find, I think this is where it's attached. Okay, so we're adding pine cones because I like the natural look of the pine. I'm going to tuck these kind of under Remember, we're looking for that split. That split is going to show. So I'm going to tuck a big bristled pine cone right in here.
Oh, Reese said it was at a Hobby Lobby.
Really?
They had all the ribbons out. The grapevines were very thin and full of leaves, etc.
Yeah.
I don't know them, but these weren't worth it.
I've never been a fan of their grapevines. Yeah. They do contain a lot of debris.
Yeah, cats always like Joann's grapevines.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, this one is another monstrous bristle cone. Monstrous. I know. But they don't have little frost on them. We do have a lot of pine cones in the front yard. So we'll be drying those.
When they're right, she says, I also think Joann's has better grapevines than Hobby Lobby.
Yes, they do. So we're tucking that little pine cone in.
Yeah, Anna says I also buy all my grapevines at Joann's. Oh, you gave me that tip a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start adding a little bit of our balls. I have a whole bunch of different colored beads and balls. I pulled all these. And I wanted to make sure I had one on each side, so I have this teal color blue. These I'm a big fan of getting. I think Hobby Lobby sells them in big containers. Probably has like 50 or 100 pieces in. I get them all in various colors. So like these, I could use for a beach wreath during the summer, but I can also use this right now. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck this in about midway. So now we're just filling. Okay, that one went there.
You can also order your grapevines from Joann's too, right? You send them shipped to you?
Yes, yep. You can. Okay. Now I have these little silver iridescent balls. So we're going to add these opposite. Starting to come together. There we go. Want it tucked in. It just didn't want to stay. Right under the apple. There we go. Okay, now I have silver, 2 silver. They're going to go one step down. So I always take them off their little ornament hooks because in the past I have glued them with their hooks on only to have them come off and separate, which is not what you want to have happen. So see how we're adding to those picks.
And this is Winter Wonderland. Love how it's all coming together. Beautiful.
Thank you. That are clear. Yeah, I didn't want to use that because I thought about going all white and then I was like, no. So again, these will give it just a different look. So we've added the clear. Then we have some white, which are the same ones I use for my colors and textures. Put that one in. We have 2 more whites. Yeah, that's the other white. 2 more whites.
Thank you, Charlotte. She said it just looks better every minute.
Yeah, Darlene says the connection keeps going in and out. If you just hang tight to the end, it should correct itself. We noticed that yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just on the live part.
A little bit. Yeah.
It's just when we're broadcasting live. Okay, so we put that one with the silver. We did that one with that. Over by the blue. Okay. Okay. Then, Joann's last year sold these, which is interesting because this was the retro color. But I want them for the blue. So, I'm going to take this off, pull the blues out. The red are cute. They have little snowflakes on them, but I want the blue. I was like, So don't be afraid to buy, you know, weird off-brand colors. There's that one. So it yielded us 5, which I hate because then that's always an oddball. But then you have to use it because where else are you going to use it? What's that?
I was going to try zooming in.
Oh, you can take my my Mevo, my phone, if you want to do that.
Oh, I guess I didn't move it.
So I'm going to add the blue to the bottom to bring the blue all the way out. There's that one. Okay, we'll add that one in here. So that one went the second bunch. Right over there. It looks so fun and festive. So because we're going to be a little on the odd side, where do I want to put you? For some reason, right in here. I'm feeling. Have another sprig. So we'll just keep tucking and lacing them in. Let's add some berries. I have them in blue, gray, and white. So this might be a little too big and bunchy because they're almost like a grapevine. Here's some right here. So I'm just going to pull these apart. That one I can cut the picks apart. This one just have one. So I'm going to pull all the colors out. And then we'll add these.
Linda, yep, you can use this swag on an entryway table or a small fireplace mantle. There's a ton of places you could put these.
Absolutely. Let's put some of these down here at the bottom.
You could just turn it into like a wall hanging too and just hang it from the top to all the way to the bottom.
You can put them,
like a column or something.
You can put them along the corners of a mirror.
Yep.
Anything that has a corner. So where we have it bowed, you would just have this as a corner. So it could be the corner of a cabinet. Like our old kitchen only had like one, it had this weird lone cabinet. It was just all by itself. So it was perfect to add a corner swag to.
I said the customer's really going to love this.
I hope. Sometimes you just never know, you know? We always hope, hope, hope. There's that one. grab a couple of these and pull these out and down because I like the dark. The dark make a nice variation. Ooh, forgot I had this guy. So I'm just working the ends so that the ends don't feel so blank.
And yes, this is a custom order, so Kat just figured she'd do the custom order.
And show you how to do one.
Show you how to do one.
She had been messaging me a couple times, asking me, you know, she wanted a mailbox swag for her daughter, and she didn't really know what she wanted. And so when she saw pictures of the fall one that I did, and she goes, I want it like that, but for winter. So I was like, okay, we can do that. So I said, did you want traditional Christmas colors? And she said, no. I want
frosted.
Like winter. She said that she could leave this up from Christmas through winter. So if we made it more wintry and a little less Christmassy. I'm just taking these things that look like a grape and splitting them. What do you think?
Yeah.
So I'm just adding little berries wherever I think it needs like a pop of blue, like a different shade, like right in there. I like adding the different colors. And then we'll go all the way down to the bottom. So some of these are flat, some of them are glittered. We have some flat. These are from Hobby Lobby.
Elaine just got here. This swag is beautiful. Love the icy colors.
Thank you. We'll add some more of the smaller pine cones here in a second. I'm just pulling all these down so that they all have individual stems. I just dropped that one on the floor. So fun. The dishwasher? No. Wednesday, yeah. You can hear the J. He's really mad about something. Stellar's J.
Stellar's J.
Mm-hmm. We didn't realize that they can actually mimic the sound of an eagle.
Hawk.
And yeah, well, hawk I think more so. So let me take 2 of these because these are a little bit smaller. And then we'll finish it up with some baby pine cones. And then I think we're done. So I'm going to just pull these down so that I have a stem to work with to put in the glue. So we'll save these for this side. Again, working them down in the bottom. Making my own picks again.
About done.
Yep. I said as soon as we get these in. And then I was just going to add some pine cones to them. The white one in there. It's like little pearls. Okay, these are all for the other side. Except for this one. There we go. I think.
Oh, so it looks like you're doing graduated sizes.
I am. So that's how they do those. If you've seen the ornament wreaths, they start off with just like one size, and then as they are going all smaller, smaller, smaller. Which is what I want to do. But I like the contrast between the dull and the shiny. But when you add the white ones to it, it almost looks like they're little pearls. There's that one. Okay. Little baby pine cones for the win. These ones aren't frosted, but it will still be a nice touch. Just little pieces of them. And I think we'll kind of graduating these ones more towards the ends. Oops. Trying to get the glue to stay in the pot. My glue's drying really fast because we're outside and the temperatures are much, much cooler. So I'm just tucking little pine cones in. There we go. So the baby pine cones are from Hobby Lobby. You can get them in a pretty big bag, and I use them for everything. I'll add them as touches on the end of a pine branch so that it looks like it's a pine cone for me.
Yeah, and I just did the same thing. I just used them little pine cones on my fall wreaths. They do add a nice touch.
Yes, because they're just like perfect little fillers. If only people knew how much detail we put into their designs. You know. That was a little too big. This one's a nice size. So I'm just kind of just so there's added interest all the way through. I need a couple big ones. There we go. Ones that just have a little bigger bottom on them. Sounds like we're out in a bayou, right?
Oh, really? Out in the forest.
What do you guys think? Do you like the result? And I think we're done. Oh, I said we were going to add some to the center. I think what I want to do is, I had a couple blue berries that I threw in here. I'm not finding them now. So I'm just going to do a quick pair for the inside. Just right inside our bow. So I'm going to add blue and our steel blue.
So it looks beautiful. Charlotte said it's absolutely stunning. Hi Faye, she said the swag is beautiful, like the colors. Judy said love it. Simone said it's really pretty, Cat. Thanks, gals. Rita said gorgeous.
And we'll break one of these down. So a white, a silver, and then a gray. So we'll make a little cluster. I saw that one shoot in there. So here's our white. And then our silver.
Hey Audrey, she said I love the results. Is this very light? Yes, it is very light.
Very light.
Probably maybe weighs, what do you think, 3 pounds?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, there you have it. I will go out and take photos of it actually on the mailbox. I'll have to take my other one off so that we can get, you know, realistic size photos so you can see about how that's going to look on a wreath. And I can't wait to show you. But like I said, it looks much different when you have it laying out flat on a table than when you have it hanging on a mailbox, because it's designed to be rounded like an arch, and we're just seeing it laying flat like this on the actual table.
Linda, yeah, she's going to have to ship this. So, I mean, you could show them that it pretty much bends in half.
Yeah.
For the most part.
So, literally, just like that. That's how it's going to go in a box.
Yep.
So, right there is in a 22-inch box. Ta-da! And then they'll just take it off, and they'll position the bow right over the top of the mailbox. You bend the arms down, and then the evergreens that are still sticking out, you take those and you twist them together, and then it stays on your mailbox. Just like so. All right, everyone. Well, there you go. In a nutshell, we have done mailbox swag. Do you guys have any questions whatsoever? Throwing all that stuff back in my project bag. And if you guys are interested in one and you want one custom done for you, message me on the website, which Steve posted at the bottom under the pinned. This is catscreationsandmore.com. And I'll go take photos and get this position on there. Faye says, what did you do to waterproof it? Nothing. You could take a UV protectant spray, but again, the UV protectant spray is just to prevent fading. The Deco mesh itself, most of the ribbon, all the balls and everything, they're all plastic, so they're going to stand up to the weather fairly well. You could Scotch guard it if you want, but again, you'll have to read the manufacturer's directions, because it could be reapply every 2 to 3 weeks. And then that becomes a pain, and you know no one's going to do that. So we are doing a test. I'm going to leave mine out for the entire duration of the winter. I am not putting anything on it, and we will see what it looks like
fall.
Yeah, at the end of January when we take it down and do Valentine's Day. All right, everyone. Well, have an amazing weekend. Thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.